Welcome to the Hot Rod Hangout Podcast.
Whoop, whoop.
I'm Matt.
And I'm Ashley.
It's been a while since we had to whoop whoop. Tonight we got a special guest. We've had her husband on, Calleja Customs, but today we get the wife, Kendra, with Deadly Custom Upholstery. What's going on?
You know, I'm just excited to be here. Thank you guys so much for reaching out to me.
No problem. And I said your husband's name wrong, didn't I? It's Mario, isn't it?
If you do.
It's not Mario? Yeah, it's Mario. I say Mario every single time.
I see. See, that's what my dad calls him that too, so I'm just used to hearing it. I think I blocked it out.
Because I said something, Nick Ackerman, which is a Hellion member, he was down here one time and he was like, oh, you know Mario? And I was like, I don't know Mario. And he's like, Calleja. And I was like, oh, yeah, I do.
You mean Mario?
And I was like, but I 100% thought that was Mario. And he's like, nope. And then I was like, okie dokie. Yep. And Zach Park, same thing. Well, interesting. Ashley had sent him a message to come on the podcast. And Zach reached out to me immediately and was like, hey, dude, you might want to check your Instagram. Y'all got hacked. And I was like, what? And he goes, this message that you sent, if it was you, sounds like AI. And I was like, look back and I was like, nope, that's Ashley's standard message. When she don't know something, she just puts out a standard message. And he was like, oh, so it's legit? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, okay, I'll have him write you back.
That's hilarious. I think once you get hacked, like, you read into everything.
Yeah.
It happened to Mario. He lost his first Instagram account. And since then, he's been just so gun shy about everything, every message he gets, everything. He just reads into everything and double checks.
Well, and it was just a standard, like, a lot of times because of me, like, I'm usually the one that handles, like, Instagram and Facebook. So, like, if it's liked, it was probably liked by me. Ashley, every once in a while, I'll get on there and just like stuff. But, like, comments is me. So, and I don't know why I wasn't reaching out, but Ashley was like, oh, I'll send out, like, 3 or 4 people. And I was like, okay, cool. Well, because I like it, like, I go through profiles, I kind of have some sort of idea of, you know, what's going on. So she just sent like a, hey, you know, we're a podcast, husband and wife, yada, blah, blah, blah. And it just sounded generic.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, you know, oh, how's Poison Ivy coming? Oh, P.S. we want you on a podcast.
It was a very professional stated.
Yeah.
Will you come on this company's podcast, please?
Yeah. So even though she's the co-host, it didn't sound like it was coming from the co-host. It sounded like it was coming from like a moderator. But
that's hilarious.
Good times.
I have to sound very professional for work, so it kind of blends over a bit.
So what originally got you into cars?
Well, so I think growing up, we would go to car shows, but we didn't have, like, my parents didn't have hot rods. If anything, they had motorcycles, and we had BMXs on the property all the time. We would go to car shows. And then I think as I got older, I kind of drifted into the rockabilly scene. And here it's very, you know, hand in hand, probably like there. Hot rods and rockabilly go together. And I was out at one show, I'd say a little over 12 years ago. And that's the night that I met Mario. And that's what really got me into, I mean, you can't be in his orbit and not be pulled in, right?
It happens.
I'll just be honest. So that was kind of where I started a deep dive into kind of learning as much as I could and just absorbing it. I mean, he literally lives and breathes and talks it all the time, you know? So that's, his love became my love, I guess is how that went.
Yeah, I know that feeling all too well.
Yeah, I bet you do.
I mean, it is an obsession.
You just kind of get sucked in.
You know,
you do. You do. I didn't fight it either. You know, sometimes I get that glazed over look and I'm like, I don't know what we're talking about, but just I can see that you're happy. So that's good.
I always joke with Matt. I'm like, you're 100% car. I'm 95% car. And that 5% difference is a huge difference compared to each other.
It seems huge sometimes, right? You know, just I'm like, can you call a friend? Because I don't know what you're talking about right now. And he'd be like, babe, you should know this. I'm like, well, I probably do, but it's that 5% that I didn't retain.
Yep.
You know,
yep.
Like I'm notorious. I'm notorious for not remembering years of cars.
Oh yeah.
It is. Yeah, I can't. I don't know why. It's just a thing.
No, I
feel this roll his eyes.
I feel attacked.
Ashley, I think you and I need to go to some kind of a school so we can like.
Well, and I can't
fill in that 5%.
Right? I can't speak for him, but so Ashley doesn't give herself a lot of credit.
So you'll hear Mario now.
So she knows, and you know, like her car knowledge may not be like fully, but she gets, and I understand this to a point, but she gets where someone that she deems knows more, she gets quiet and she won't express anything because she doesn't want to look like she doesn't know. And if she would just rely on what she has it, you know, so there's occasionally like I'll look at her and kind of give her the, you do know this, you know, I'll send her for something or, hey, could you go look at this or, you know, whatever. And she just kind of like looks at me like she doesn't comprehend. And I'm like, you do. And if she would just take a second, she gets it. But so I understand. And it's also hard, and I'd assume it's the same way with y'all, with the multiple businesses. You know, like there's a time where you have to be husband Matt, but then there's a cool car and you really want to go talk to that guy, but it's like a, hey, how's it going, man? Nice car. And then you got to go like switch back quick because, you know, y'all deserve us, not just cars, you know. And with the podcast, like I'm always on and it's not an act. Like the person that anyone hears on the internet, like this is me. I am the guy that like will record this and I'm going out to do a radiator hose on the Cadillac. You know, that is me. And sometimes you have to kind of step back and remember why you enjoy it. 'Cause you get to where you're working always. And it's like,
always.
So like we'll go out
like
and
always.
I immediately want to like, which we have scheduled date nights and it's less cars. It's not no cars. Like Ashley preferences with, okay, so no podcast shirt. You could still wear your podcast hat. And if you see a cool car, you could say, hey, nice car. But let's not talk to the guy for an hour about his car.
Yep. And we're not talking about the project. We're not talking about the shows. It's, oh, that's a cool car in the parking lot. Okay, cool. All right, now back to dinner.
Because
oh my God.
Especially at car shows, because like the whole reason we started the podcast was we just wanted opportunities to do stuff that we've never done. So, you know, my California road trip, I probably wouldn't have made it out to, or maybe I would have, but it would have took me longer. You know, or owning a Cadillac. I've said for probably 20 years that I'll own a Cadillac in 5 to 10 years. And I finally have one sitting out there and it's still like surreal sometimes. But like opportunities that you're given, but then also like you go to a car show and you're not enjoying it like you used to because it's now a job. So you kind of have to step back and be like, nope, I'm enjoying this one. Or not tell people you're coming.
Yes, I understand that.
Yes. And especially like if you have a known car, like y'all have some cool ass cars that people know. So like if y'all say you're coming to somewhere, they expect you to be the person that they see on the internet, which always is on. Nope, I have bad days too. And I don't necessarily want to talk about it all the time, but I do like talking cars. But it's weird.
Well, I don't find that weird. Just I think because I'm married to it, so it's the norm. It's the norm, and I respect so much the two of you, and the fact that you make it a purposeful thing to have a night where it's not. I mean, it's not cars. There's always going to be cars, but you but you trim it back a little bit because. I mean, Ashley, I feel you on the setting the ground rules sometimes. Because Mary will look at me and he'll be like, "Why you don't control? Like you're not trying to control me, but why would you say that?"
Right.
And I'm like, "Well, because you don't realize that sometimes I'm just there, like no conversation happening, right? Just standing there." And it's funny that you guys say that because. Ashley, I used to try to talk cars more, but I found it very hard because it would be almost a conversation stopper when I would try to get involved in the conversation.
Yeah.
There could be a group of guys standing around and I would try to say something and even Mario noticed it. He's like, what just happened? I'm like, did I say something wrong? And he's like, no, I think it's because you can talk cars. I just don't think that they knew what to do with that. Right.
It makes them stop right where they're seated. But I mean, when we started the podcast, I still don't talk very much, but when we started the podcast, I would never say anything because if I did, I felt like the conversation would pause. Granted, I edited it out, so you can't tell. But, there's always, unfortunately, no matter what obsession you have, there's always going to be that one negative Nancy. And, I mean, I've seen it with Matt. I've seen it with myself. I've seen it with other people that know way more about cars than either one of us. And you have that one negative person and they're like, oh no, that's not right. And it's like, okay, well that kind of sets me back. Now I really don't want to say anything. So I'm like always looking at Matt like, did I say that right? Am I talking about, do I know what I'm talking about? And he gives me the little nod like, yeah, you got this. So even when I, break out of my shell, it's still like looking over Matt, did I say that right?
Well,
I understand.
And there's so many, like, especially, which we'll get to, your side of the car world. But, like, there's so many different avenues across the board from traditional to hot rod to customs to rat rod that has now became whatever it's become, to, performance to the Bonneville type cars. There's so many different avenues and people get so locked into their niche.
It's true.
And it's hard to get, like, I can appreciate everything. Obviously I have what I like, but I will talk to somebody. If you're proud of your 69 Camaro, tell me about it. I'm probably not going to be able to offer.
I know.
I'm probably not going to be able to offer much like actual content because I don't deep dive on muscle cars. That's just not my thing. But hearing somebody talk about something they love is like, I love the passion behind it. I totally understand. And that's part of the reason why I was so excited to come on here, because I know that both of you are like that. And I'm exactly like that. Like if you love your ride, I don't care what it is, tell me about it. Tell me what you want to do. Tell me what you think you did wrong. Like I want to hear about it because it gets me going to hear somebody else get excited about their ride. I don't know. It always has. Yes. And also, like, I don't care how you enjoy the hobby. Just enjoy it. Like, because people give, there's people like, oh, they trailer to shows and they drive around at the show and then they put it back in the box and it goes home. That's cool. There's people there's people that have won Riddlers or Grand National or, Amber, and they're absolutely fine with opening the garage door and going, yep, that's beautiful, and shutting the door and going back and sitting on the couch and watching football.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have that money, I don't have that money. I have to drive whatever. If I build something, I'm going to have to drive it because that's what I got. But if that's how you enjoy your car, or the trophy, the, $5, Five Below participation trophy car, guys, pull out your lawn chair, sit and talk to your buddies, go have coffee, cars and coffee, or donuts, or breakfast, or whatever it is,
Yeah.
Just be proud of where you're at, and it doesn't necessarily matter where you're at. Just be who you are. As kind of my thing is, like, don't act like you ain't, if that's what you are.
Yeah, no, 100%. It drives me crazy. I want people to be happy and humble and proud. Like, I want to hear about it. I don't want to hear negativity about anybody else's ride or what anybody else did, or if somebody trailered something somewhere and they shouldn't have. We're all different, and so our passions are all different.
Yep. So I don't know how y'all categorize your cars. I always say that the 54 is Ashley's and the Cadillac's mine. But so what is currently your favorite car, that whether it's your car or y'all's?
In your fleet.
Out of what we have, or my favorite car?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so it's the 56. So it's a Ford Custom Line Kustom, and it was a car that Mario bought and made for me several years ago, and working on it and watching him build it, and then it has extra love for me because it was the very first interior that I ever did.
Oh, wow.
I paid somebody else to do the seats because I hadn't started yet, and I didn't know that's where I was going. But then when I did decide that this is what I was going to do, I made it my very first project to kind of prove to myself that this was something that I could do. I had to prove I'm very hard on myself. So I knew that if I could do something for myself that I was proud of, I would be able to do that for somebody else. Mm. So yeah, my 56 is called the Crypt Kicker.
Is that the one with leopard seats?
That's the one. It's got leopard seats. It's got spider webs sewn into the door panels. Mario did all the lettering and pinstriping on it. He even painted it, actually. But metal flake just pops in the sun. It's gorgeous. And, it's a driver. You can get in that thing and cruise anywhere, anytime. And it's like driving around on a couch. Like, it's so comfortable. And yeah, that's my baby. The only thing that we're going to change on it is when we made the car, I would say, so maybe like 7 or 8 years ago, I wanted the loud, obnoxious. I wanted the open lake pipes. I just loved the loud, right? Yeah. Flash forward to several years later, and I'm like, "Hun, can we switch out those? I can't. I wear earplugs now when I drive my car."
That'd have been us. That'd have been us if we'd ended up taking the Model A to the West Coast.
Yeah,
because it was going to have Tri-5 Chevy fender well exit headers, and that was it.
Yeah, right next to those front doors.
Right next to the front doors.
Yep.
So
yeah.
No side windows either. Who needs them?
Just and for the longest time driving that car, we didn't have an interior in it. We just had the seats done, so there was no insulation, nothing. It was so loud and hot. Yeah, brutal. But yeah, that's my baby. I love that car. Absolutely love it. And then of course, Poison Ivy has a huge spot in my heart. I mean, that car took years off my life doing that interior. Never let your husband choose a white interior. That was a crazy step.
Oh,
that was right before the podcast. I found the Cadillac seats actually do look nice, but I had found seat covers for the Cadillac because I was just looking at interior stuff, and Ashley's like, "You want white interior?" I was like, "No." But the review was it was a seat cover, and it was the diamond stitch, and it was white, pure white. And she's like, "You want white interior?" And I was
no.
No. I am way too apt to climb under something and then climb in it. to have white anything.
It's too much to remember. It's too much to remember to have to clean everything before you touch your car.
Yeah,
it's just too much.
We're already out of our comfort zone with it being
it's going to be a shiny
car.
like already shiny paint's already like.
We're normally the rusty crusty, and it's going to be shiny.
I called Psycho, the guy that's painting the car, and I was like, "Hey, I've never painted anything shiny. So, like, how long is this going to take?" I'm like, do I need to bring you the car before our show? Is that going to get it to primer? Or I don't even know how any of that. I don't know the time frame on any of this. And he's like, I was like, I've never painted anything. It's just always been like whatever paint it came with is the paint that it sticks with, or whatever doesn't fall off, you know. Although technically we've painted your car with Pentrol.
Yeah.
We found stuff.
I remember that.
Mm-hmm. Yep, we found stuff, and it's like $16, and I think we still have like half a bottle left, and we've done it 4 or 5 times.
I remember. I watched that on YouTube. Yep. I remember that.
Yeah, it works good.
Yep.
It needs it again. Easy, yeah. It actually needs washed because
it needs washed and then light sanding.
Right now, it's kind of the abandoned child in the front yard.
Yeah.
It stopped running, and I'm like, oh, get the Cadillac running and driving, and then I'll pull it in, and it's a good excuse to put a small block and an automatic in it. And
yeah. Do you feel that way? Do you sometimes look at your car that you're not using like you want to and go, oh, no, I'm sorry. You know, I still love you. I'll get to you in a second.
Yes.
We have been putting Band-Aids on Michelangelo for a little while.
Yeah, and it was kind of always the plan that it was going to end up with a small block and an automatic. So I would always like, I don't really want to buy anything for the motor itself. So when we first got it, we did the manifolds because it had a bad exhaust leak, and I was going to fix it. And we found, it's cracked. So then I bought manifolds. Well, now the manifold don't line up with the exhaust. And I'm like, it's going to get a small block, so I'm not paying to run new exhaust. So flex pipe it up, and we'll just make it work. Well, they ran the exhaust, instead of going over all the cross members, they ran it under the cross members. And the car is stupid low.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, the mufflers drag on everything. It gets stuck on everything if you don't hit it exactly right. And
we almost turtled it one time.
Yeah. It's been turtled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had Caden sit on the trunk of that car to get it over a speed bump one time.
Oh.
Yeah. That car's been.
Alrighty.
But
I think sometimes when I'm driving the 56, I think sometimes that people must look at me like, does this woman know how to drive her car? Like, because I have to. It's got Mario Frenched in the open leg pipes on the bottom, and he dropped it at 5 inches too, right?
Yeah.
So it's low and heavy, and I have to scope out any parking lot that I'm going to pull into, or it will be scrape city. Like I just. You have to be so careful. So I wind up going wide and doing all these like crazy turns just to get into a place.
Yeah, you got to hit everything at an angle.
Yeah. And sometimes that doesn't even work, and then you hear the crunch.
Yeah. Well, and that was so her car when we got it. It was low. I don't even know how the guy drove the car, honestly speaking. Because it drug with me and her in it.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, well, it had 4-inch blocks in the rear. I'm like, we'll put a set of 2-inch blocks. And then the springs in the front, it looked like they heated them up. So I was like, okay, well, I found a set of 3-inch drop springs. We'll just throw those in. And I was looking on their website, and it showed where it was supposed to land on the tire. And I'm like, that should be perfect. That'll be like a 2-inch lift in the front, 2-inch lift in the rear. Will be good. I put the drop springs on it, and I couldn't even get the jack back out. It lowered it 2 inches, and I was like, no. So I put a set of stock springs in it. I just bought a set of brand new stock springs, put those in it, and I'm like, it's going to be like gasser style. And it sits about 3 inches lower than it did factory. So I have, it must have drop uprights on it or something. But yeah, that was
It's a confusing setup.
I was like, okay, well, eventually it'll get bagged. So we're not worried about that either. The zip tie that was holding the distributor in time, that my fix was put a new zip tie on it and put a couple extra zip ties in the glove box in case it breaks while we're out somewhere.
Yep.
You know, and it's just,
Right.
I don't want to spend money on it because it's getting a small block.
Right.
And
plan ahead with the zip ties.
yeah, and now it's not happy, and I've tried to fix it and I can't, and
No more Band-Aids.
so I'm like, all right, well, I'll get the Cadillac running, because I was like, oh yeah, we're close. Like, all it needs is everything else, and it's taking longer. You know, running into stuff that looked like it was addressed, but then you dig into something and, oh well, that wasn't correct. So now we're, you know, the motor and trans was sitting in the car, and I'm like, oh, well, everything's there. Like, everything's great. No, it wasn't bolted in for a reason. You know, nothing lined up.
Yeah, you never know.
And I'm like,
You
okay.
never know until you get into it.
Yeah. So what should have been like a weekend project of pulling the motor out, cleaning up what I needed to clean up, and shoving the motor back in turned into like 3 weeks of, oh, cut the front and do this, and oh, that water pump's not going to work anymore, and this isn't going to do. And it's like, oh man, like, so yeah, it's just the snowball effect. And I know you understand that because you deal with cars.
Very, very much. I understand that. Very, very much. You never know. And I always, you know, that's something that I learned to tell clients or potential clients, is that the caveat of, well, so I'm going to say, you know, that this is going to go like this, but I don't actually know until I open up your seat or get into your car and start tearing things apart. You never know what you're going to find. It could be dead mice. It could be anything.
Yeah. And especially in interior, because there's, you know, rodents there, you know, there's so many different caveats of stuff that you can find.
Yeah. I mean, and it could be something as simple as, you know, you can take the panel out, you build a new panel, design a new panel, but you can't put it back in properly because guess what? They don't make that attachment anymore. So then you get into a fabrication scenario, and luckily, you know, you call your husband for that. And
you go to the other side of the shop for the fabrication department.
That's right. That's right. I know you're busy, but I call his name so much from my shop that I think it triggers him now. He cringes. What?
I just want to have lunch.
Yeah, I just wanted to say I love you. That's all.
So, what was the reason for getting into interior? Was it just you wanted to do your car, or what got you for the idea of I want to do upholstery?
Yeah. So again, I'm going to blame Mario for this. I think that I had a habit of walking into the shop and just kind of loosely critiquing everything. Like I come from a marketing background, so I'm used to looking at something that's in front of me and noticing flaws or mistakes in it. And so I think that just some people are wired that way, and I'm definitely wired that way. Like I am my own harshest critic. And I can get in my own head about literally everything. Right. So there was one time I walked into the shop and he was showing me an interior that was finished. And I looked at him and I'm like, that's not finished. And he's like, what do you mean? And I'm like, the panels are literally falling off, and that seam, I'm not sure what's going on. And he said to me, now it's going to sound like he was being rude, but he wasn't. He's like, well, why don't you see if you can do any better? And I looked at him and I'm like, oh, okay, you know what? Challenge accepted. Because I had been going through kind of a phase in my life where I didn't know what I wanted to do next. But I knew that it didn't involve a corporate life anymore. I couldn't do that. I had lost my mom in 2018. She lost her battle with cancer, and it kind of kicked me so hard that I just stepped away from work for a while. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, COVID hit. And we're not going to talk about that. And then I was diagnosed with a chronic illness. It was endometriosis, which also kind of knocked me out for a while. So after I went through a couple of rounds of surgeries, I was completely like almost a different person mentally. Like I just knew that I needed to change. Mm-hmm. So that was when I went out and I went, I think it was Kijiji at the point. I found myself a Juki industrial sewing machine. And I looked around Ontario. I tried to find somebody I wanted to be an apprentice level. Like I wanted somebody to take me under their wing, but there was nobody that could do that. Mm-hmm. So I actually learned everything that I know from a gentleman named John Pollock. He's out of the States. He has a company called Lucky Needle. And I just started taking his courses. And then everything was online anyways. So I started taking his courses and applying it practically and doing test panels. And that's where I suddenly decided, you know what, I'm going to do my own car. And if I can do my own car to a success where people are like, wow, who did that? Then I know that I got this. And that's honestly how it started. Like I opened my own company in 2021, and October 1st, actually, 2021 was when Deadly Kustom Upholstery hit the ground running.
Well, congrats on your anniversary.
Yeah, I didn't realize that until I was thinking about it. And I'm like, oh, I just let that one go by. That's a sign that you're working too hard.
Well, it's more fun than it is work.
It is fun. And I actually do love what I do. And I don't know if I can look back, in my marketing career and say the same. There's something that I'm very proud of having my own company and having my own, I guess, craft, for lack of a better word. I try to do my best I want more people to get into doing, what Mario and I are doing, because there's not enough of us doing it.
Right.
And I see people, they want to pass the torch, but they don't have anybody to pass it to. There's a lot of older people, around where I live that are just getting out of the business, and there's nobody picking up that slack. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, and
I think I got off on a tangent.
No, no. And there's so many, I've found that I always seem to find myself talking to the older generation more than people my age, because I want to hear the stories of not having a cell phone in your pocket. How did you took that car that you just built and put it up on the road, and you didn't have a cell phone to call somebody. You had to hope that you broke down next to a payphone,
Yeah.
So it was like, oh yeah, I took this car on a test drive and the fuel pump failed. So I took my sock off and dipped it in my fuel tank, shoved it in the carburetor, and idled home. That's the story. Like, how did you get home, or how did you do it when you didn't have a choice? Or the guys that didn't have, that's why I'm a big fan of Gene Winfield, because it wasn't like, oh, I just bought everything. It was, I made it, and people that, people that can take and look up, like they don't have a lot of money. So, yes, I want a Pullmax, or yes, I want this tool, or I want that tool, but I can afford this one, or maybe I can figure out how to make something else work. And that was on the episode with Chad, him and Gene, while Gene was in the hospital here, they sat down and Gene was drawing up tools that they made to, make stuff. And Chad's like, there's not even a tool now that could do this. Like, this was a made tool that y'all made to do this specifically, and no one's figured out how to actually make one yet. But y'all made it back when it was just cut it out, figure out how to get it back in, It's just metal. It'll go back.
Yeah, right? It's it's a skill and you hear stories of people back then, doing these radical, amazing custom paint jobs, in their barn on a dirt floor that they wet the dirt floor so dust wouldn't rise, like the stories like that, which I hear a lot because Mario is very much the same as you. And he's fascinated by that stuff. And so I think I've also, I will talk to any of the older generation about anything that they do, car related or not, because those are skills that I actually truly believe that we still need to have. It's important. We can't lose that.
And also those same people want to pass on the knowledge. They just want to know that it's going to somebody that's going to use it. So I've met older guys and they aren't accepting of, because what do you know? Or, what do you know about classic cars? So the internet should know by now, but I have Ashley's 54 tattooed on my inner forearm, and it sticks out of most t-shirts just a little bit. And I spend a lot of time in one of the largest, if not the largest, retirement communities in the country. And I'll see somebody with a cool car, or they'll mention a car, or I figure out a way to get them to say the word car or something that sounds like car so I can talk cars with them. Because even non-car guys have car stories, of the older cars, because even if you're not into cars, that's the one thing about her car, the 54, like we pull in somewhere, the guy might not be a car guy, but he remembers his dad had that car. Right. Or he took those stories of, and then you find out about cars, like Ashley posted the 54 for sale, and she got 3 or 4 people like, hey, I think I used to own that car. And they sent her pictures, and I'm like, that's not the same car. But then you look, and it's like, nope, it still has that rust hole right in the door, right where it still has that rust hole.
It still has those blankets, the same blankets, the same rims. The same Mexican blankets, potato chip clip to the back. That's so it's like, you see the history or the cars, or they invoke an emotion where you don't get that with a new car. No one sees a Scat Pack and goes, oh, I remember. It's not
and then starts to cry.
It's not a thing, and but if you spend so I'll run into somebody and they'll say something and I'm like, tell me about your car, or tell me, and they kind of look at me like, what do you know? And I gotta nonchalantly pull my shirt up a little bit and point at something where they can see the tattoo, and they're like, whoa, wait, that's a 54 grill. Wow, what, you got a 54 tattooed on you? Oh, that's my wife's car. What? I'm like, yeah, I like old stuff. Oh, well, now you broke the ice. Now they want to tell you, but they're just looking for somebody that knowledge isn't going to fall on deaf ears.
Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly right. Exactly right. I mean, we've been pulling out of shows, and people that weren't even at the show see the 56, and they will just, as we're trying to turn, they're on the sidewalk, but they will stop and have a conversation with us about it, right? And tell me all about it. And at the end of the conversation, we'll all be in tears, because it's 9 times out of 10, it's so impactful, and it's a memory of somebody that's passed, and it's their dad, it's their grandfather, and they remember this and that, and just that's a very, very important and cool thing about what we do, for sure. Just sharing that history.
Oh, and Ashley has a similar sort of bringing up of the same as you. She liked cars, but never was able to experience cars. So when we met, we got the car. As a matter of fact, I had the 54 on a trailer. We were going to trade it away, and the deal fell through, and we were still at the house, and I unloaded the car. So we'll just take it for breakfast, and ended up at a little pop-up car show. And we're pulling in, and, I'm just cruising with my wife. Like, I'm just out for a cruise. And a guy whipped around and took a picture of her car pulling in a sea of shiny cars. And she got a big old smile on her face. And I'm like, oh, yeah, she's hooked. And she's like, that guy just took a picture. And I was like, yeah. And she goes, that's cool. And I went, you're done. Like, this is it. This feeling that you're feeling right now is the whole reason we do this. Yeah. And like backing in.
Yeah, and she was never the same again.
And backing in, again, it's an older populace with shiny, beautiful cars. And you back in and you see them come running and you're like, oh, they're going to like put up a tarp because they don't want the rust to jump. And is that a 54? Yeah. Oh I took my wife to ice cream in a 54 Chevrolet on our first date, or the cruise or the drive-in, or my granddad had one on the farm and he drove it till the wheels fell off and he just stuck it out back and us kids would go drive it. And does it still have the 3 on the tree? Nope. It's got a 5-speed. Oh, so it'll actually get out of its own way. That's good. And like hearing the stories, like, does it still have 235? Yep. Still has 235 for a little bit longer.
Yeah.
And are you going to put a small block in it? Yep. And just the emotion it evokes makes me go, okay, cool. I don't really want to paint that car. Like, cause it looks like it's 71 years old paint job. Mm-hmm. And other than the roof, it's still that paint. I think the roof's been repainted because the roof is way nicer than the rest.
It's way too white to me.
But, and just to hear stories of how they did it and why they did it. I come back from the war and, the whole traditional hot rod thing, or hot rods in general, like went over to war, come back. Well, we don't need these. We don't need this. We don't need that. I don't need that. So that all can leave. And now you got a bare bones hot rod. And it was kind of like the screw the man. Like we're good, and to see people now taking them, the Poison Ivy builds, Rolling Bones type cars, Zach Park's cars. There's so many different amazing builders of the traditional-ish hot rods, because Poison Ivy's a little bit out of that whole traditional thing, but close. It's a pretty painted car, I guess. So, it is a hot rod. It's sort of traditional, but it's also got really pretty paint on it and awesome interior. But pushing it and seeing, also, I enjoy seeing people do the same car different. Yeah. And you have that in 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. They start getting kind of, you can only do so much. 60s cars are kind of, unless muscle cars, but 60s cars are pretty much like air, hydraulics, spokes, now 20s. That's kind of the, or floating hubcaps on 50s cars, stuff like that. And just seeing the trends that some hung around, some didn't because they either didn't work or, nobody's kind of grabbed that and went on that same token of you saying like passing the torch. A lot of these guys are either getting out because, age or and if somebody doesn't take up that slack or doesn't take the reins and try to continue it on, that's lost. The drastic chops, there's so many builders out there that are, like you said, with Frenching and taillights and Frenching lakeside pipes and bellflowers that's everything,
I love it.
Voodoo
People shouldn't be afraid of that.
Voodoo Larry,
a radical custom is a beautiful thing.
Voodoo Larry with the 85 different taillights that he's had in the Voodoo wagon. Like,
love it.
Every single one of them looks great. Like, he puts them in, I'm like, man, you're right. That was the lights. And then, like, 2 weeks later, there's another set, and I'm like, nope, you're right. That's the light. Like, they all look good, but it just does. He hasn't found the one he wants yet. I think maybe he has now.
Yeah.
But, you know, and doing stuff that no one else does. Like, I always pick the Bastard Childs. 62 Cadillac. They don't make nothing for it. 4-door Model A. Nobody does that. Like, I was putting hydraulics on a Model A. Like, that's crazy. You know, just cuz. And, you know, it's weird. But, so, unlimited budget. None of us have it. But unlimited budget.
No, that's true. But unlimited imagination.
Yeah. So unlimited budget. What is the car that you and Mario would get in the shop and build?
Well, I feel like I exhausted that with Poison Ivy. Honestly, that was it. I don't have any future idea of what comes next. I'm sure Mario does, but Poison Ivy was literally, like, when I say it, you know, took years off my life. Like, there was so much that went into building her. Like, it was every detail, every little finesse, every idea. We looked at it like it was unlimited budget. Mm-hmm. And that's what we wanted it to look like that, you know? Because we're both, it's lucky that we can, you know, in what we do, we can build that with each other. You know, people try to make us put a price on it, but it's impossible because I don't know if you'd find somebody that would have that unlimited budget to do that. You know what I mean? Well, it was a labor of love.
And that's another thing with the cars. I was talking to somebody the other day, and it started in like drag cars, high dollar drag cars. A lot of the shops are stopping to build complete cars because it's so hard to justify the money that you have in a car.
Mm-hmm.
That you have to like undercut because you don't want to charge that for, you know, it doesn't look like it should cost that, but there's 80 hours in that taillight.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, to make it exactly
it's
right.
So true.
And
it's so true.
And at the end of the day, you know, I think was it 24? The Amber winner, America's Best Roadster winner, won the thing. It went across Barrett Jackson and it sold for like $80,000. And you know that car had probably $500,000 in it to win it.
Yeah.
And
and
I was talking to I'll mention who, but he happens to work at one of those shops that do those style of builds. And I was like, dude, I can't fathom spending that much money on a car and not feeling like a gut punch when it goes across the stage and it only pulls $80,000. Like, and he's like, it's a write-off. He's like, the guy, that's the only way you can look at it is like, that's your loss. That's what you're going to say you lost. So you don't have to pay as many taxes. And I was like, that's still a kick. And he's like, it is. He goes, it hurts me. And it's not even my money, but it's so hard to justify, you know, telling somebody like, hey, I have 100 hours in getting this car blocked to get straight. So then I can paint it. And it's not a $10 paint job anymore. You know,
no.
You know, gallon of paint is a gallon of paint now is what people used to pay for whole paint jobs last, you know, 15, 30, 25, 30 years ago. And
that just keeps going up and up and up every, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Especially if you buy things like some of the things that I work with, like ABS, it's at market value. So when I go to buy it, I never know what I'm going to pay. Like it makes quoting incredibly hard because you just,
I didn't even think of that. That's silly that they would do
especially
market.
now, like it's just, the pricing of things is a ridiculous thing. And I try to be very real with people. When somebody will come in, we live in a rural area, and so there's lots of farms around us, and four-wheelers, and, in the wintertime, snowmobiles. And I have neighbors that bring me seats off their snowmobiles. They'll just drive in and they'll be like, can you do this for me? And I'll be real with them. I'm like, you don't want to pay me that. That's going to take me hours. Yeah. And I don't really want to charge you what I would have to charge you for that, because the shop rate is the shop rate. Mm-hmm. You can go on Amazon and get yourself a seat cover.
Yeah.
And, I'm not going to feel bad about guiding you in that direction. And 9 times out of 10, they're like, no, I just want you to do it. I want you to do it. I'm like, okay. But you can't, it's so hard because I want to pay it forward and I want to be fair with people, but
you also have to get paid
it's a bit of a dance.
Yeah.
That's right. And it's in everything we do. Like if I'm sourcing things, that's me sitting in front of a computer, that's time. If I have to go drive around and get things, which in this world, you definitely do. You have to go to 10 different places now to find one thing, hopefully. It's, it eats into your day, and the unknowns eat into your day too. So yeah, it's definitely talking about, what I would do with an unlimited budget. It was poison ivy, because that was a huge lesson, and how far can you push it and remain sane and not completely break the bank, which I don't know if we did that, but.
Well, and also when building a car to sell, you have to account for your time. But, the price for if someone come and dropped off their 62 Cadillac and told me, hey, LS swap it and bag it, would be way more money than I'm going to say I have in this car. But if I'm honest, that's, you have to get paid for your time. So for somebody to ask you oh, well, what is the value or what was the investment in poison ivy? You could probably go through and figure out the hard cost, but not the hours of research.
No, never.
Chasing parts, chasing a specific part, because that car is getting into, y'all have in your head, it has to have X. There is no oh no, it just needs that, it just needs the basic or anything will work. You're chasing a part, and that gets expensive, especially when people find out that you're chasing a certain part.
Yes, that's true. That's very true.
You got the I need it part. You got the I need it part and the I want it price. And it's you have to kind of, even the Cadillac, when we went to go down and look at it, I told Ashley, I was like, okay, I really, really need you to be very, very harsh on this car, because I'm going to get blinded by the crest on the hood and I'm going to want it. So I will put blinders on and be like, yeah, we can fix that. So please point it out. If you see it, point it out, because I want to make sure that, we're not getting into, even the Model A, when we went and picked it up, it looked pretty rust free. Yeah. As soon as we took the fenders off, I was like, oh, there's all the rust. And then started taking the interior out, and I'm like, oh, that's rotten wood. It's there's not a whole lot of structure here, and
yeah.
And so you don't know that, somebody brings you, for interior wise or a build wise, somebody brings you a car and, they think it's really solid. You look over the car and you're like, yeah, it looks really solid. Cadillac's a good example. It's right now, it looks really solid. I got a couple spots under the door and a couple spots in the fender, but that's all I think I'm going to find. But Psycho was very, very honest with me and was like, listen, if it's all the stuff that we've seen, it's not going to take that long. He goes, if we get it down and I find that somebody put drywall and fiberglass and Bondo to build a fender, we have to now make a fender. and that's going to take longer. And I'm like, I get that. But again, I don't know shiny paint, so I was just kind of trying to get a baseline. But
yeah,
there's so many
and that's
and there's different challenges. You know, stuff that you didn't think you were going to run into, stuff that should have been easy that fights you. Or weather.
Oh, it can be anything. Yeah, all day long, it can be anything. It could be something so simple as just running one line with my sewing machine, and my sewing machine can decide to go, you know what? No, we're not doing it. I'm going to mess with you right now, and that can happen. And then there goes like an hour trying to reset everything and figure out why. You know, because you can't just call somebody to fix your juicy sewing machine. It just doesn't. Especially out here, I have to go on a waiting list. So I've become very adept at fixing it myself. You know, shout out to YouTube. I can't.
Did you turn it off and then turn it back on?
Oh, yeah. Will this reset itself? Can I just walk away and hopefully the gremlin that's in it that's causing all the problems will leave, because I can't deal with it. It can be anything. You know, you can lose power in the shop for no reason. Yeah. It could just anything throughout the day. Going to go pick up, like I said before, going to go pick up some screws can lead to you having to go to 6 different stores because they don't have the number 6 flathead that you're looking for. Like it's anything. It's anything throughout the day that just throws a wrench into things and causes you to lose more hours, you know. And like what you were asking, what we were talking about before, putting a price on hours that you put into working on a vehicle. I mean, you guys know it's impossible. It's impossible.
Well, and also, you know, it's a slightly easier for y'all because you're going to the shop and this is the time that we work. But like for us, I might go out and work for a couple hours after I get home. And then I may come in and eat supper and not be able to sleep. So I go out and work on it for another hour or two when no one else is around. And then you can't, you know, I get that. I'm not technically clocking in and out on the car, because honestly, I don't want to know how much time I have in the car.
Yeah, I will be honest with you. I'm never clocking in and out on a car. Even when I have quoted somebody, I will go to the shop. You know, I mean, it is a privilege to have the shop right on our property, right? So I walk across the laneway, but it's never a set hours. It is always until I am satisfied with what I'm doing. So sometimes that can mean 3:00 in the afternoon. Sometimes that means 11 o'clock at night. Sometimes that means that I don't sleep. Yeah. You know, like it's a blessing and a curse, I guess. It's just, I will stick with something until I get it the way that I want it to. And not everything goes, you know, contrary to what the TV shows tell you, not everything goes right the first time. No. It does not. It does not.
Oh, you mean you didn't rebuild that whole car and do that interior in like 20 minutes while we went on break?
Yeah. Right? Come on, you can do that. That's always the kicker. When somebody sends me a message or says to me, "It shouldn't take you that long," I'm like, "Nope, you did not just say that to me. Do not say that."
Well, and it
shouldn't take you that long.
And it's one broken bolt away from you know, every 30-minute job is one broken bolt away from 8 hours.
Yeah.
You know,
I was working on a bench seat last year, and it had a lot of, it was beautiful. I was in love with the colors of it, in love with everything. And I had a lot of hand set buttons. I think there was about 30 in each panel. And I finished everything up, but I just wasn't happy with where one of the buttons was. So they were the snap kind that you have to like tack together. So you have to drill them to remove them. They're in there to stay.
Right.
My drill bit broke and decided to dance all over the fabric, which meant that I had to redo the entire seat panel. because it was all sewn together and back trimmed. I had no more meat on the bone to adjust anything.
Oh, geez.
That was one mistake that led to, 2 to 3 days of redo. That's what happens because I'm not a machine. None of us are. We're not perfect.
No.
Just like in life, you can go to the grocery store and get a flat tire. I can walk into, my shop and completely mess something up that I shouldn't have touched again anyways. It happens.
Yeah. And also I've found, you're working on something and it goes slightly sideways and you just dig in and you go at it again. And now it's slightly more sideways.
Yes.
And
yeah.
Throwing wrenches.
And now it's a little bit more sideways. And then all of a sudden there's a Phillips head screwdriver stuck in the wall next to somebody's head across the shop. And then all of a sudden you like stand up, walk away, walk back over, and like, I'm pretty sure I could have threw it from where I was standing and it like bolts itself on and it's perfect. And you're like, all right, good. I almost lost my cool.
Yeah, you're right.
It's like,
yeah. Thank God I didn't lose my cool.
Yeah.
It's I've worked really hard on that. I have a very hot temper, and like I said, I'm very hard on myself. So I can get in my own head, like nobody else can. And I've had to work really hard to just be like, okay, no, you know what? You've got this. You've totally got this. Just don't freak out right now. Just take a deep breath and we're going to figure it out, because like I will go to where you went to and things will get thrown, and nobody needs to see that. It doesn't need to happen like that. I do actually, I do some of my, this is kind of really weird to say out loud, but I do some of my best thinking while I'm about to fall asleep. I find lately that when I'm thinking about things will just come to me as I'm about to fall asleep, and I solve a problem from the day that has been like blinding me and I haven't been able to figure it out. And then things will just click, like you said.
Yeah.
And I'll go to the shop the next morning and I'll be able to do everything like I wanted to. But sometimes you have to step back. You're right. You
see, my problem is I wouldn't be able to go to sleep.
Yeah.
My problem is I would have to get up and go out and do it right now to find out if I actually did so.
11 o'clock at night, 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning before work.
No, hold on. I did warn her when we first met. I was like, hey, I'm going out in the shop. And she was like, okay. And I'm like, I do have trouble sleeping. So if you ever wake up and I'm not next to you and I'm not in the house, like just walk out to the garage. I'll probably be in there.
Mm-hmm. Or if the air compressor kicks on, because at the time the garage was right next to our bedroom.
Oh, geez.
And it was during that C word. And so she was off because of what she did for work. She doesn't pay attention to the news, so she didn't know it was coming. So surprise. But
surprise.
And I was week on, week off with my job. And I was like, hey, it's like 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, hey, you want to go clean the shop?
Sure.
And she's like, huh? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, you were home like all day and you didn't feel like going out there. And I was like, yeah, but I feel like going out there now. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning, garage door open.
Yep.
Blasting the stereo, like roll the bike out, roll the powder coating booth out, like let's do this. And we're cleaning the shop.
I guess when the mood,
and it's just
when
like,
the mood strikes.
I can't. I have a real difficult time, shutting my brain off, and I guess it's because I don't like. I have to go to work, so I kind of have to like put it in neutral on the car side of things during work, but I still like want to think about it. So then when I'm off, like I'm trying to fit all day where I couldn't do it, or researching. I'm a big research person. I kind of have like, that's a flaw and a plus. Like I get on something and then I want to know like everything I can possibly figure out about it. and why this works this way and everything like that. So
yeah, I understand that. I'm the same way. I've always been that way. Always.
And then I also but then I want to go apply it. So like if I learn something, then I want to go do it. And it doesn't matter what time it is.
Oh no, see, I need my sleep. I can't do that.
It. I physically can't shut my brain off.
I think Mario's the same way as you in with not being able to sleep and just thinking about things. And because I'll say to him, like, just, positively, like, think about something and plan what you want to do the next day. He's like, are you kidding me? If I do that, I'm not going to sleep. He's like, if I even think about it, I'll be out in the shop doing it. I'm like, oh, I can't relate. I don't know.
Yeah. And it always reminds me of the meme of like the couple laying in bed and the thought bubble over her head is like, he's probably thinking about another woman. And then it pans over to his thought bubble and it's like, it's got air, it's got spark, it's got gas. Why won't it run?
Yeah.
There's no leaks. I've sprayed every airline. Nothing's leaking. Why is it losing air? That's.
Yeah. So this is for Ashley. Do you ever walk out into the shop when one of those moments is happening where he can't figure out, he's gone back through everything, and you kind of nonchalantly say, well, what about this? And it turns out to be the right thing that solves the problem, which doesn't necessarily help the situation, but it's damn funny to me when it does happen. And I'm like, I'm sorry. He's like, no, why do you have to be right about that? I'm like, well, I didn't mean to be.
Well, it depends on how much he's been marinating on the wall that he's hit. If it's a couple minutes and he's not frustrated with it, oh yeah, oh duh, hello. Or if he's been sitting there for a couple hours and thinking it through and nights of researching, like he says, and then it's kind of like he goes quiet and he mulls it over and he knows, but it's like, okay, I've done my helping hand.
Well, and I've always said like anyone can help, like, because a lot of times, y'all, I hate to say this like this, but y'all are unique in the fact that you want to be out there and you want to learn and you want to be a part of it. So, but I always say like everybody can help, because if I'm staring at something on the driver's side of the car looking across the motor and you're looking at it from the other way, and I'm trying to beat this square peg in the round hole, well, on your side, the other end of that square peg is perfectly round. Like, just turn it around and shove it. Like, so a lot of times she'll bring up something and I try to do my best. And sometimes I get frustrated, like, because I've already thought about it. But it's like, I try to do my best to say, no matter what her idea was, I try to walk it back through whether it's going to work, whether it's a new thing or something I'd already thought of. I try to walk back through the steps with her. Yeah. So for future, that issue comes up again. Oh, well, we can't do it this way because the whatever's in the way, or we have no way of grabbing that where it's at, or I can't stand on my head, or, whatever the case may be, and try, and like y'all said, it's sometimes it is the stupid thing. We're overthinking it to like, it's got to be a bigger deal. It can't be that simple. So we're not even thinking the simple thing, Yeah.
Yeah.
So yes, she does
I
that
do. Yeah.
all the time.
Or the best is when he's trying to do something, and I know there's a tool that we have in the toolbox, and I try to describe what the tool is because I don't know the name of it and the descriptions I come up with. Yeah. And he's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And then I'll go, because I've organized his toolbox a few times now, so I kind of have an idea, and I'll go in and find it. And he's like, that's what you were talking about.
Yeah, that's pretty much every day. I think that if we were ever together in a shop, you and I would know what, I'd be like, I know what you want. I know it. You described that perfectly, and the guys are like, "What? I don't understand." You know, the red thingy with the claw on the end of it, and it's got this little snap thing to it.
Well, and also like technical terms, like I'll call something what it actually is, and it's the forked thingamabobber.
Yeah,
and she knows what that is, right. And I'm like, no, that's a crow's foot, babe. Like,
our rubber mallet is not the rubber mallet; it's the bug squisher.
Oh my gosh!
Because one day this was at our old shop. There was it was a palmetto
bug, and I don't know. Do y'all have palmetto bugs in Canada?
I don't think so.
Okay, so
I don't know what that is.
Looks like a cockroach, but it's not a cockroach. And
we don't have those.
Okay, so they're found in, well, we have palmetto bushes.
Yeah.
But it's a vegetation bug. So
yeah.
And I saw it crawling on the floor, and so I picked up the rubber mallet and I squashed the bug. Well, in the middle
of her picking up the rubber mallet, I didn't put it together. And also, like, I'm from Florida. I know what happens when you squash them.
I'm not. I just think kill bug.
So they stink.
Oh, no. What?
They stink.
No.
Yeah.
And we're in a little one-car garage.
When they die,
no.
It is like, and it's immediate. So it's not like dead body in the corner starts rotting. It is like you smash it and it's immediate. Mm-hmm. So I was like, no. And I'm like, oh. And she's like, what? And then she's like, ugh. And I'm like, that's why.
So now if he asks, do you need a hammer or do you need the bug squisher? Do you need a real hard hammer or the rubber mallet?
Although, shout out to Ryan O. He had sent us a hammer set. Mm-hmm. And the like 8-pound, the actual real hammer. And he engraved bug killer on it.
Yep.
So she has a rubber version and the one that would break through concrete if needed.
Amazing. For the bigger bugs.
Yeah, for the big bugs. So is there a show or event that y'all try to make every year?
I actually don't. There was one here. It was called Jalopy Jamma, and that went on for years. And it was just the best time. It was a weekender. You went there. It was on like a ghost town that wasn't too far away, but an hour's drive. Mm. And it went on for years there. And it just was one of those weekends where you drove your hot rod, you set up your tent, you drank, you ate, you hung out with friends. It was just a good vibe. That one we used to go to all the time, but they stopped doing it last year. No, I don't. I mean, we go to the Syracuse Nationals. That is literally one of my favorite car shows. We go to Motorama every year. It's a given that we'll either have a booth there or one or two cars. For here in Ontario, it's kind of, because it's in March as well, it's a time to like get out and see people that you haven't seen in a while because, like we were talking about earlier, we have to put our cars away here, right? Mm-hmm. So it's kind of the pre-kickoff to the driving season here. You never know whether you're going to be driving your car to Motorama in snow or sleet or any of those combinations, but it's always an adventure. And just like, it's a good time. And the show gets bigger and bigger too. Like I almost feel like they need to expand the venue because you're literally like sardines in there on the Saturday afternoon. You can't move. It's a blessing to be able to go and like find a little spot where you can actually like breathe and not be jammed up against somebody. But yeah, Motorama, that's a good one.
Yeah, we definitely want to make it up there eventually.
Yeah, you have to. I think you need to.
Yeah.
Got to make it out there. Got to
make it out
to Cali. Got to make it to...
There's so many. That is the one thing about this and, that question. And it's like, everybody tells me about the awesome shows, and I'm like, oh man, like I want to go to that one. That sounds cool. Like it's cool.
Yeah, no, well, I mean, for Motorama, it does get cooler and cooler because they have a back room there called Mayhem, which is just it's lively. Like there's bands playing. That's where they have the pinup contest. That's where they have like more of the customs back there. It's more of an event back there in Mayhem as well. Like really, really well done.
So you could say
so there's different parts of that show.
So it's kind of the
rockabilly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there a show or event that y'all have never made that you would like to make?
Besides the hangout in January.
That's right. That is what I was going to say. So that's number one. Number two would be, I guess, and I think this is Mario's influence as well, but I think one of these years, Moon Eyes, the official event we're going to have to take that long trip.
Here or Tokyo?
No, Tokyo, long trip.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you watch footage of that and it just seems so amazing, you know?
That was one of Ashley's
like a real
from the West Coast show. Is I brought her back a Moon Eyes foot keychain.
Yep. And it's like a freaking brick. That thing is heavy. So it's hanging on my backpack, but
yeah, it's
yeah, I think, you know, there's always shows that we hear about that we do. You know, Trog is on that list too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I want to go experience that. We've been saying that for years, and now I think he's got something in the shop that he wants to take there. So who knows? Maybe next year.
So Trog is Jersey, so that would be north or south of Virginia. I'm from here, and I don't even know. Jersey's north of
here. Yeah, okay. Virginia. Yeah.
Because there's also September 11th of next year.
2026.
Virginia Beach is doing Wired Custom. Zach Parks is doing.
Oh wow!
Trog inspired, but more relaxed rules, and the customs that don't want to drive on the beach are parking on the boardwalk.
Yep.
Oh, nice.
So that's January or September 11th, I believe.
10th or 11th, I can't remember. It's in our post somewhere.
September something. He told us about that before this year, so it's a long time.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that'll be.
He's prepping because he had to get special allowance for the beach and stuff like that. So it's something very special.
We had that episode recorded for a while because then he hit red tape, and then it's like, all right, we're good. I'm like, all right, I'll release this Thursday. Okay.
I can't even imagine the planning. Yeah.
He's like, a guy was sick, and I'm like, okay. And he's like, all right, we're good. And I'm like, all right. Oh, they didn't vote on it. I'm like, okay. So then I think I went on there and I was like, so this episode was previously recorded. So everything that we talked about, other than his show, probably already happened. But
just imagine the planning and logistics that has to go into doing an event like that on a beachfront.
That's absolutely crazy. And the hotel,
so crazy.
He was telling us the hotel, you're going to be able to, if you park on the beach, you're going to be able to, in your hotel, look down and see your hot rod parked on the beach. So that was pretty cool. I was like,
amazing.
But there's like you said, though, I can't even imagine, because like our stuff to stay still, there's a lot of hoops to jump through for cars just driving in and parking. I can't even imagine the racing side plus racing on the beach.
And that's a car show venue. There's other shows that happen there, so it's not even like we're doing out of the box.
Yeah.
Never had a car show here kind of thing. But
that was the biggest that was one of the biggest things when we started that. I was like, oh, just call somebody up, go, hey, I want to do a car show. And they go, yeah.
Nope.
No.
It's difficult.
No.
Well, I figured, I figured it out is basically, the venues that don't understand that there's different groups, just assume like, oh, we're all like burnouts and, everything that they don't want at their facility. And it's like, no.
Right.
We're respectful. We're classics.
We like old stuff. Like, I probably couldn't do a burnout if I wanted to.
I might look 30, but I'm really 80 at heart.
Don't let the beard fool you. I'm an old man. I still like flatheads. So is there anything else? Because I know we talked about car upholstery, but I also know that you do a lot of the semi-upholstery. Is there anything else that you would like to tell us about Deadly Custom Upholstery that we haven't already talked about?
I do mostly the semi. I wasn't going to bring that up.
Okay.
But yeah. But I mean, I love talk. Well, honestly, offside, I didn't know whether you would want me to talk about that or not. And Mary was like, yeah, of course they will. They don't care.
Yeah.
I'm like, but I mean, that has literally, because what we talked about earlier about people and their vehicles and their passion,
yes.
Right? That can be anything, that can be your bicycle, that can be your motorcycle, that can be your hot rod. That can be your tractor trailer, it turns out. I didn't know that world existed. Mm-hmm. I had no idea. But Mario did.
It's funny that you said that because we have a very, very large chrome show because 75 Chrome Shop is like 30 minutes from our house.
Yeah.
And
yeah, you do. Some of my clients go to that show, actually. Yeah.
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 So I understood it. So whenever we talked to Mario and he was like, oh yeah, she does semi stuff. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Because some of those interiors
are insane,
are absolutely nuts. And the fact that
they are,
so I come up, the first time I ever went to the Chrome Shop, I was like, oh, these are cool trucks. But like, that's a lot of money to quote unquote waste. Because like these trucks aren't working trucks. Like obviously, they're beautiful, but you can't use them. And then I was working for a soil company and there was a guy that had dump trucks and the truck was absolutely beautiful. I'm like, oh, this beautiful truck. And I loaded him on Thursday. So I know he was working the truck, went to the Chrome Show on Saturday and the truck is there. And it is absolutely beautiful. And I was like, oh, dude, I didn't know that. Like, I knew it was a retired show truck when you bought it. I said, but I didn't know you, like, actually still showed it. He's like, yeah, that's why I didn't get loaded yesterday. And I was like, what?
Yeah,
goes,
working.
Yeah, I unloaded Thursday night, and I polished on the truck all day yesterday. And here I am. And I'm like, dude, this is nuts.
Yeah, it is nuts.
Trailers.
They're working show trucks.
Yes.
Yeah. I know it's crazy, and I did not know that world existed. But it is an amazing world. Let me tell you, it's kind of taken over my life, to be honest with you. Like and also like physically, ask me whether I would rather be standing up inside, the cab, the bunk of a tractor trailer, or curled up in a chopped, channeled, I just.
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's everything on a large scale. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, Chop Model A's got to be like real easy to like accordion yourself into to do panels.
It's not uncomfortable at all.
No.
It's fine. It's fine. My back and my knees love it. Yeah, but it's a different world, but it's the same passion, right?
Yeah.
I mean, these guys work their trucks. They are in their trucks all the time, and they want to express, just like in the hot rod world, they want to express how they feel, and it's through their vehicle. It's through their vehicle on the inside and the outside.
Yes.
I mean, there is so much love and detail that goes into these big rigs. It's amazing. And to get to work with a lot of these guys that, you know, they work their trucks. It's a cool experience to get to know different clients. You know, these guys are in their trucks every day. Sometimes it's a bit of a challenge to see when I can get there to actually have the truck, because they're not even here with the truck, right?
Yeah.
Versus somebody here who has a custom that only drives it on the weekends sometimes and then stores it for like half the year.
Right.
It's a different thing altogether. But again, it's that passion that I totally love. So going back to Motorama a couple of years ago, I actually got one of my clients who has a 94 Kenworth W900. I got him to come to Motorama to show his truck there. And he rolls in, I mean, with this paint job that is just killer. You know, the Kenworth is bagged. It's bagged, right? So it's all chromed out. He rolls in, drops it to the ground, you know, gets out and just starts winning awards, like left, right, and center. So much so that people are getting mad, right? And I don't know if I should tell this story, but he was like, I swear that guy was mad at me. And I'm like, I knew who the guy was. I'm like, why would he be mad at you? He's like, I don't know, but he's upset. And genuinely, people were upset because he was rolling in class by class. Mm-hmm. You know, he was winning best lowered. He was winning best paint job. But you can't even compare on scale alone, right? Like the amount of effort it had to take for him to bag that tractor trailer, or the amount of effort it took for that paint job on that tractor trailer. Like you have to respect it. You know, you can't get mad at it. It's a ride.
But
it's got wheels. It's got an engine.
That's also one of my pet peeves about car shows in themselves. Like, other than the Bad Apple, I've never, like, I don't care if it brings a trophy. Like, I'm there having a good time. I want to see what other people have. You know, yes, I like when people tell me I have a nice car, even if they're lying. But, you know, there's so many, and there's people out there, and you hear stories. I don't remember what show it was, but like a guy was like big mad that he didn't win a trophy. And it was so bad that the promoter actually went and bought like Crybaby of the Year award and mailed it to the guy because it was
That's amazing.
Well, and you know, and
that is amazing.
And that's why we don't do a top 30 at our show. You know, we do my pick, we do a lady owned pick, we do furthest distance driven, and that one's open this year, unless Mr. Randy Jackson and Misty come from Oklahoma and Missouri again with a dragster towed by a 53. And then we were going to try to do a club participation, but no one's signing up with their club. So, and then our advertisers and our sponsors and the car clubs build trophies. They give their pick away. So at the end of the day, you can't be mad at me for anything other than podcast pick. You know?
Yeah.
Because, and I had somebody ask me like, well, why don't you do a top 30 or a top 15 or a top 10? And I told him, I said, your car's beautiful, but it wouldn't win. Well, what do you mean? And I'm like, it's not me. Like, if I'm picking the awards, you're going to get the grungy guys that have their fingers crossed and their toes crossed to try to make it back home. The guy that can tell me the coolest story about, you know,
That's it right there. Yep.
Our podcast pick last year was a car that didn't even have a throttle cable. But 4 days prior to our show, he called me and borrowed a gantry crane to pull a Cummins out of a truck to put in a 53 Meadowbrook hood stack.
Wow.
But didn't want to cut the hood at the time, so he just no hood. And it's his wife's car. They unloaded it off a trailer. No intake pipe, so it literally just sat there rolling coal all day. And she got to come across the show field with a shoestring on the throttle, whopping it. And I'm like, which we did have another pick, but somebody else picked that. And I was like, I can't give him the podcast pick, and you already gave him a trophy. So we had to switch it up. But I know the story of the car, over here and this, there's so many, like, yes, you have a nice car, but there's something about the guy that he's been beating on that car for 3 days just to try to make it here.
Right. I know. And the story of that fight to get there, that'll get me every time. Or, when I am judging, I do, like you, I have to talk to everybody. If I like your car and I like the interior, I want to talk to you and I want to know the story behind it. And I don't know what it is. If you feel like you're entitled to win just because, that drives me crazy.
Yeah.
What is that?
No, and like I said, if and I'm gonna try my hardest, if I can get this Cadillac ready for Turkey Rod Run and it goes to the Bad Apple show, this is the only time I'm gonna say this. I'm entitled to a trophy, Bad Apple. Give me a Bad Apple. That's all I want. That's the only trophy I want.
Okay, now I get it.
That's the only one.
Well, Michelangelo
now
may have already won a Bad Apple.
So 2 years ago, we went to Turkey Rod Run, and at Turkey, there is a sideshow, off of the actual show. There's the Bad Apple Rat Rod show. And that year, they had American flag CNC cut apples. And I was like, that is dope, because I love America. So anything with an American flag on it, you already win. And it's a CNC cut trophy. I'm like, that's badass. Well, Michelangelo at the time was still my car, but it was on a trailer in Airbnb jail because the road that the Airbnb was on would not allow me to get the car out. So, so we didn't have a car. So we showed up in a normal daily, the tow pig.
Yeah, because you needed 4-wheel drive to get down the road of the Airbnb.
So it obviously didn't win nothing. So we go back last year and I was searching for Model A parts. So I had literally walked the swap meet all day. And it's at the Daytona International Speedway. So it's huge. We walked, 16 miles?
Yeah, 60 miles the first time we went in one day.
Yeah.
But after that one day, we've decided from here on out, it's going to be a 3 or 4 day trip. It's not something you want to do in a day.
Right.
So we pull up at the Bad Apple, and I'm like, I don't care how much it costs. You ain't going to win nothing. Because there are some really nice cars there. And I said, so don't be mad, you ain't going to win nothing. You ain't going to win a trophy. I said, but we're entering your car because I want VIP parking.
Yeah.
Like, so when they're like, it's $20, I'm like, $20 to park right here and not have to walk across the busy intersection.
And you got a free shirt.
And you got a shirt. So I'm like, and the shirts were $20. I'm like, so you're buying a t-shirt and you get an entry. Cool. All right. So, I don't know if you're familiar with Corey and Hannah Wheat, but she won with one of their vehicles, and we're trying to convince her that they actually called her name. And she's like, no, they must have said Corey. And we're like, no, they said Hannah with the welding rig. That's you. And she's like, oh, so her and Ashley are walking up to the stage, still arguing with each other that they didn't get called. And I hear what I thought was Ashley Boys. And I was like, nah, I didn't hear that. And it's like 54 Chevrolet. And I'm like, yeah, but there's a bunch of 54s here. Orange Rust. And I'm like, crap, that's what I wrote. So now I like run up and I'm like, yo, well, both of y'all got a trophy, so get your trophies. Well, they walk up there and now they're arguing with the guy with the pad that did the judging that they didn't win. And the guy's like, are you number this? And Ashley's like, yes. And he's like, then you won a trophy. So last year's Bad Apples were black light, lime green, biohazard, CNC cut Bad Apples.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty dope trophy. So I'm like, nah, I really want. Because I said it on a podcast that I said that's the only trophy I wanted to win just because it's cool. I'd rather have a cool trophy than like something. And that's why we do skateboards. Because it's
Something out of the box.
one, it's duplicatable, but
Exactly.
two, it's also like it's not just the 5,000 trophies that we all have from sports, and every car show that you go to has the same basic trophy.
Yeah.
And they're cool, but to me, like I'll give a trophy away. I want the little kid that's never seen one of those cars to sit in it. You're not gonna hurt it.
Oh yeah. No. Yeah.
The
Anytime,
Cadillac, I might be a little more like, hey, don't put your hands there. But because I've never had anything shiny. So in the beginning, I probably will be like, hey, you can get in the
super
interior.
protective. Yeah.
I haven't got there yet.
I'm gonna see you around it. You're gonna wear gloves. You're gonna hand people gloves. Put on the gloves, please.
No, because the reason I've always been like that with kids is, I was that kid.
Yeah.
I wanted to look, and which there are still kids that are raised the way I was raised. Like, if you're walking up to a car and the car door's open, you immediately put your hands behind your back. You look. You don't lean down on a seat to get a better look. Like, you put your hands behind your back.
Mm-hmm.
And be respectful. But I was always the one that wanted to fire the car up, or wanted to look at, and just because you don't see these cars every day.
No.
And
anytime I see a little child interested in Poison Ivy or the Crypticker or Mario's 31, I will always say to them, do you want to get in it? Like, do you want your picture taken in it? Like, do you want to see how it feels? And I'm forever, like, Mario's the same way. Like, I just want to encourage that. Like, I see that child that their eyes light up, right? And I'm like, well, here, your eyes are going to light up even more. Get behind the wheel. Like,
Yeah.
Well, I even was able, I know I'm not a kid anymore, but we had gone to the Florida drag strip riot. Is that, yeah, that's what it's called. And it's all these classic cars thrown together and they go down a drag strip. Well, the year 1927 means a lot to me. Both my grandparents were born in it. I have the dates tattooed on me. Like, I've always said, I'm going to have a 27 in some form. And my hubby got me a license plate from my home state with that year. Yeah. But we go to this show and I'm going around taking pictures and I come across a car and I'm like, oh my gosh, that looks like the right age range. And I walk up to it and it's got a little board and it says 1927. And I am taking probably 30 pictures of this one car. And this older gentleman walks up. He's like, you want to get in it? And I'm like, are you kidding me? And
awesome.
I'm like a 29, 30-year-old woman and I'm excited like a little kid in a candy store.
Well, and it's because it evokes an emotion. That's where it all comes back to is, nothing, I hate to say this because I don't have the patience for them, but nothing sounds better than a flathead.
Right.
But nothing feels like a flathead while it's running. Nothing feels, a new car, you can't get, they don't cam like a small block. They don't, it's just, they're not, they're boring. It's supposed to run. Like, you hit the key and it's supposed to run. Like, I feel like every time that we hit the key on our cars, it's like, oh, it fired. Cool. And the 54 is really, really good. Like, up until this time, it's never broke anywhere but in our yard. And
wow,
like, it's always made it home. Mm-hmm. I went for a trailer. I did come home and get a trailer for it
once.
And I drove back and it was me, Ashley, my buddy, and his brother. And I was like, I really don't want to try to push this car on this trailer. And I'm like, well, before we do that, like, let me just see if it'll fire. And I breathed on the key and it started right up.
And that was,
Come on.
like previously mentioned, the time I drove the trailer, the
And I
empty
was
trailer
like,
home.
so I looked at Ashley and I was like, hey babe, go ahead and throw those ramps back on the trailer and I'll see you at the house. Yep. And my buddy's brother had never rode in anything old. So I was like, hey bud, you want to ride? And he's like, yeah, I'll ride with you. So like he immediately gets in and he's like looking around. I'm like, what are you looking for? And he's like, seatbelt. And I was like, oh, we don't have those. And he's like, oh. And I'm like, yeah, there's no airbags either. We die like men. And he's like, oh.
Yeah.
Well, because that car is still low, like the drive shaft hits the floor every once in a while on a good bump. Yeah. So like we go around a corner and like the door kind of like clicks to the first thing. And I'm like, oh, you got to slam it. Open the door and slam it. And he's like, oh. And I'm like, yeah, or you'll fall out. And he's like, oh. So we're going down the road and like every little bump, like the car's creaking and rattling and it's home. Like, yep. And I hit the railroad tracks and the the rear end hits the frame, drive shafts in the tunnel. You know, it's making noise. And he's like, what was that? Is it okay? And I'm like, yeah, it's perfectly fine. Like we turn on our road and it's like scraping down the road. And he's like, seriously? Like this is fine? And I'm like, yeah, it's good.
Yep. Totally normal.
Like not even worried. Yeah. And he's like, what? And I'm like, okay. And like pull in the yard and he's like, that was crazy. And I was like, yeah. He goes, like, you can hear the car. And I'm like, yeah. The windows are down.
That's what you're supposed to do. Yeah.
This is what it's supposed to sound like. And he's like, that's crazy to me. And I'm like, yeah, it's, and a lot of people don't ever experience that. And it's not like I converted him to like want an old car, but it's different. And it's kind of, you can kind of give people perspective of, I remember when mom and dad picked up their 34 truck for the first time, that's like, people were a lot skinnier and shorter back then.
I'm thinking about stuff like that all the time. All the time.
Like there was a reason I was building a 4-door Model A. Because I'm fat and I didn't think I could fit in a chop channel coupe. Which I've now figured out that there's ways to do that. But
yeah, these are things you have to think about. Talk to your upholsterer. Yeah.
And I'm not tall.
I'll take more foam. I'll take foam off the seat. Yeah.
Well, and so that was interesting, which I'm not an upholsterer. I'm not claiming to be. I'm not trying to take credit like I am. But so his seats, his whole interior, you could tell at one time was done. Like somebody put some time and effort into doing the interior. Mm-hmm. But then somewhere along the lines, the seat that they built for the truck left and like bomber.com seats or bomberseat.com, like Model A seats, rat rod seats ended up in the truck and they were like silly uncomfortable and like they were just not good. And we messed with it for a little bit and finally like it was getting close to where I was like, okay, I'm going to start the floor on the Model A. And dad's like, what seats are you going with? And I'm like, I'll probably like order a set like yours or look for a set like yours. And he was like, well, what about just these seats? And I was like, oh, okay. So he had bought a Dodge Caravan seat, but when he put it in stock configuration, it didn't fit like real good. So I took this back off and we flipped it around and I took the padding out and a dog bed and stuck that padding because it was thinner and then just kind of stretched the stock cover back around because you can't see the back of the seat. So it was like unceremoniously tied and gutted or whatever, but it made it look like decent. And then I just built side brackets to the layback he wanted and it worked really good. And then after that, my buddy was like, you could have just used your Model A seat. And I'm like, what? And he's like, you just use the frame and then you use like, you cut out wood that fits and you just cut out your butt area and use like the beach chair fabric, and that'll let your butt go down so your legs are in a better position. I'm like, I never would have thought of that. And he's like, yeah.
But you thought of something else though. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's
you did your own workaround.
And it still, don't get me wrong, it still wasn't like the car that I would have taken off to Ontario in. But, you know, it at least made it a little bit better. But then to think, like, the 54, the first time it ever made like a long trip, I was nervous. They're like, "Oh, are you going to the show?" And I'm like, "Man, that's 3 hours, dude. Like, Michelangelo's never been stretched." And I'm like, "And there's a good chunk of that road that's 65, and I don't know how long it'll do 65." And my buddy's like, "What are you scared of?" And I'm like, "It's just never done it." And he's like, "Okay, well, what would they have done in 54 if they needed to get from here to Jacksonville?"
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, I guess they would have gotten their 54 Chevrolet and they'd have drove it over there. And he goes, "Okay, so when are we leaving?" And I was like, I guess we're going. I'm like, well, it'd be cool. Like, it'd be nice to have some people to go with us. And he's like, "Okay, well, what time does Ashley get off work?" And I told him, and he's like, "Okay." And he's like, "Well, we were going to head over in the morning." I'm like, "All right, well, you know, we'll either see you over there or whatnot." He called me at like 3:30 and he's like, "What time do you think you can make it to the Circle K in Bushnell?" And I'm like 4:30. And he's like, "Okay, I'll see you at 4:30. And we rode over together. And I'm like, it made me feel better. And we didn't have nothing to worry about. The car did all right.
Yep.
We pulled in and the guy at the hotel's like, "Does this say Bushnell?" And I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "Where's that?" And I was like, "About 3 hours that way." And he's like, "Did you just buy this and you're going home?" And I was like, "No, we drove it from Bushnell." And he's like,
"Yeah.
Oh, are you selling it here?" And I went, "No, we're going to a car show." And he's like, "Oh, so like you bought it and you're going to a car show and then going home?" And I was like, "No, we drove it from home here to a car show, and then we're going to try to drive it home tomorrow. But the more you're talking about this, the less I'm thinking this is possible." And he's like, "Oh, it's old." And I'm like, "I know."
But it got us.
It got us there. And the breakdown that the trailer was hydrolocking the fuel. The fuel got hot.
Yeah.
So that's
the adventure, right?
Exactly.
That's the adventure.
That was the Band-Aid.
Yep.
But, you know, so before we get out of here, because good episode, what is one piece of advice that you would give somebody trying to get into either the car world or upholstery itself?
Oh, good question. I think for upholstery itself, I think that the thing that I don't know how to say this. It's going to come up being really, really weird, but just go for it. Just go for it.
We're weird.
If you think that you want to do it, if you want to be an upholsterer, then just go for it. Start practicing. I don't know how else to say it. It sounds so simple. But a lot of people are afraid to take that first step. And I talk to people about it all the time. And like, if it's something that you want to do, just go for it. Just go for it. It sounds like almost cliche to say, but just go for it. And then if you do get into it, the other bit of advice that I have is learn how to say no. That is my biggest piece of advice. Learning how to say no is such a tough lesson, but it is so important in what we do because we're not miracle makers. You know, we're not machines. We can only do so much. And when you're a people pleaser and, you know, you're starting off running your own business, you want to say yes to as many things as possible, but sometimes that can be not the thing to do. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Makes complete sense.
That's a struggle sometimes.
It is. It really is.
Well, and that's, you know,
and
it's not just necessarily projects, like, especially when you have like cool shit, you know, people want you places and, you know, I'm really, really bad and I'm getting better, trying to get better at, no, the car's not running. I'll try to make it, you know, check back with me. I'm not, you know, cause you know, there was a couple of shows that I really wanted to make and, oh yeah, we'll be there. And then the 54 throws a temper tantrum and the Cadillac's still up on cribs. I'm like, well, day of, hey, not going to make it. And then you feel bad because like you gave them your word you're going to do it. Or something happens and, you can't control it. A lot of mine is I just feel like I could get shit done quicker than I can. And I have no patience. It's like I want it done yesterday.
Yeah.
Maybe that's because there's too many things to do. I think that's part of the problem too, right?
Yeah. When there's so much, for us with the podcast side of things is like, we want the community to grow. Well, how do you grow it? You go to these events, you share your experiences. We try to do the social media stuff the best we can to let people know like, hey, Turkey Rod Run's a cool show. You should come. Or Play Loud or our show. You should definitely come to our show. But, just there's so many different cool stuff and you want to support the people that support you. So if they're helping, if they're promoting or they want to come to our show or they're, talking and engaging and trying to get people talking, like you want to help them do that because that's what you're trying to do. And sometimes that comes back and bites you and I'm learning. I haven't learned it completely, but I'm trying to get better at it because I am very much that person, which is weird because Ashley's the people pleaser between the two of us, but I am way quicker to tell people we'll be somewhere that we're not going to be.
I'm the quiet people pleaser.
She just doesn't.
That's funny. Now
Oh, people will ask, like, hey, do you want to do this? And I'm like, yes.
Yeah, Mario's the same way. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I have to be the killjoy stepping in and being like, well, can we? I don't know about that.
Well, and I think a lot of it is the, like, we'll figure it out. That really bothers Ashley, that statement. And it's like, we don't have money. We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. This is us. That's us. But we add something on the end of it. It's we'll figure it out like we always do. We take it one step further. We'll figure it out like we always do.
Yeah. We've been together 11 years now, and that's always been the saying between the two of us. And I'm like, okay, when do we have it figured out though?
When it happens.
Sometimes I need to have it figured out before we do it, just a little bit. But anyway.
Some of the funnest adventures are the ones that you just throw caution to the wind and go, though.
Yes.
Yeah. I think, speaking of that, I think when I met Mario, you were talking about not wanting to drive too far or wondering what would happen. Mario was very much that guy. But I'm more of let's just do it. Let's go. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? Bring some tools. Let's go, because those are right. That's right. Some of the best adventures that you have are when you just don't know what's going to happen. Right.
Well, and in my defense of the 54 being nervous is we bought that car running and driving and didn't do a whole lot to it mechanical wise. So there was still a lot of unknowns. The Cadillac, I've had my hands all over it. So if something breaks, it's mine. I did it. Whereas that one, it's I didn't do the 12-volt conversion on it. I didn't do that or do this part or that part. So it's like for the longest time, we had a nut that Napa wanted $200 for a nut. And I refused to pay it. And it's a funky thread. So I found one that sort of threaded on and put an impact on it and ugga-dugga it and till it no more went. And I just took a paint pen and kind of marked it. And every time we stopped for gas or I made it home or before we left, I would just peek under there and make sure the line was still in line. And then I said it on a podcast, and Mr. Randy Jackson with the Gas Garage was like, hey, man, he's like, I take all that crap off of those cars. He's like, but I think I got one in the backyard. If I do, I'll send you the pin and the nut. And I'm like, cool. Here's my address.
Do you think part of our fear in driving these cars a little bit is in the fact that, if I go out, say in my Jeep and something breaks down, like neither of us really know what to do. Like there's so many electronics in this thing that you can't do anything, right? But if we go out in the 56, it's an easy repair. And easy, I'm doing air quotes right now. You can't see me. But you know what I mean? Like it was a simpler time with simpler technology that was built to last. So when you're out on the open road, you can find the things that you need to fix it. You don't need to take it and have it hooked up to a computer to diagnose it.
Yeah. Well, and that was the
so maybe part of our fear.
That was when
go ahead.
That was when I got invited on that road trip. Everybody at work's like, well, you're doing what? And I'm like, well, it's a 10-day road trip from Montana, Sandpoint, Idaho, down the west coast of California in 4 vintage cars and 4 vintage campers. And they're like, you're doing what? And I'm like, we're taking classic cars like the 54. And they're like, your car's going? And I was like, no, my car's staying here, but it's 4 of those. And they're like, well, what happens if you break down? We fix it. Well, what about this? And I'm like, we'll fix it or figure it out. Or, but we really appreciate you coming on. Thank you again. And we look forward to catching up with you January 3rd at the Hangout.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We are trying our hardest to make it there. And thank you guys so much for having me on. This has been a blast.
Oh, yes.
Problem. And you can catch everywhere to find everything Deadly Custom Upholstery and Calleja Customs down in the show notes below. All right. Well, before we get out of here, we want to give a big shout out to everybody that makes this possible. Big shout out to Ashley. Also want to say a big shout out to everyone that listens, likes, comments, subscribes, interacts with us. It really means a lot. But we definitely want to give a big shout out to Why Not Fab. You can check them out on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. He's getting ready to get back started. Throttle Addict, use the code word Hot Rod to get saved 15% off. Huge shout out to Johnny Jalopy, Facebook, YouTube, and JohnnyJalopy.com. He is the one that designed the logo for the 26 Hangout. Still need to get with him. Johnny, if you're listening to this, man, holler at me. Let me know if you're coming to the Hangout. Really looking forward to seeing you there. You can check out Wrenching for the Future, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Psycho Fab. I'm trying to get the caddy ready for you, man. Looking forward to bringing it up and letting you do your magic on it. And also, this is the first time that I'm doing the advertisers, so I want to welcome Mike Rio Photography. He is going to be the official photographer for the Hangout 2026. If you haven't checked out his work, go check him out. And also, if you haven't checked out his podcast, he actually interviewed me. That's probably not the one you want to listen to, but go check out all the awesome people he has. He kind of interviews a wide genre of people, but definitely go check out his work. Till next time, guys, get out and drive your shit.
See ya.
Later.